Hello everyone, it's the Farm Sim Guy here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to a very quick recap of what happened in round 4 of Logging League, ahead of round 5 coming this Saturday to mine and Argsy's YouTube channels. So what we're going to do this time, which is a little bit different, we're just going to give you a quick recap of each game. We'll fire through this as quickly as we can and we will get to the results because things are tight heading into the penultimate and in fact the final round of the regular season, because after this round on Saturday we move straight to the final, so all to play for. Just ahead of jumping into game 1, we have to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. First and foremost, THRUSTMASTer, who provide some of the best peripherals for gaming out there, and if you haven't used the T16000 joysticks, they bring a whole new dimension to the game, whether that be logging or whether that be for your front loader or your excavator in your yard. They are outstanding and really change the game for the better. And of course, G-Portal, who are providing our servers for Logging League, and have to say, some of the best servers you can get out there. So if you want to play Farming Simulator with your friends online, go and get yourself a G-Portal server. We have affiliate links in the description for this vid, so make sure you go and check them out. But without further ado, let's dive into the first game. So, game 1 saw Modern Logging versus Power Team Esports. Now, Power Team Esports took an early lead after Modern Logging had some issues getting their truck into the arena area. Modern Logging then proceeded to load their container incredibly quickly, moving back into the lead. Then some indecisiveness from Farming Alex in picking his route back to the sawmill saw Power Team Esports retake the lead, and with it, the win on the road by just over a minute. However, when the penalties were applied, it brought it back to a very close 14-second gap, but with Power Team Esports just holding on for the win. Game 2 saw Pinnacle Loggers take on the Logmeisters. Similar to the first game, Pinnacle Loggers had a slight issue getting their container ready and into the arena. Meanwhile, Faban and Tobias making short work of getting their container loaded. Now, we talked about the benefits of the high lift before, and Gaming with James was prepared and ready with a huge load of logs when Sharp Farmer finally arrived into the arena. The Logmeisters were first to fill their container and made their way out of the arena and up to the sawmill, while the Pinnacle Loggers once again had some issues getting through the chicane and out of the arena. But with no penalties applied, the game went with the Logmeisters with an extremely quick time of just over 10 minutes and 30 seconds, with Pinnacle Logging coming over the line almost exactly 2 minutes later. Game 3 saw our first solo games of the round, with Motocross and BMX versus DJ Bob versus Sharp Farmer. Unfortunately, connection issues saw DJ Bob forfeiting the round, so it was a straight battle between Motocross and BMX and Sharp Farmer. Both guys worked effectively and efficiently with some smart positioning of vehicles and log piles and some very effective loading. The difference ultimately was Motocross and BMX cutting down enough trees to load his container in its entirety, while Sharp Farmer had to stop loading to cut down some additional trees to finish loading his container. Motocross and BMX came into the sawmill first, but we saw our first new tactic from a team in a few rounds, with Sharp Farmer utilising the river to get the shortest distance between the arena and the sawmill. Unfortunately, not enough to take the win, but a real crowd-pleasing run from Sharp. Game 4 was our third and final 3v3 of the round, seeing Pinnacle Loggers back this time to take on Pick a Pallet. And with Sharp Farmer, part of the Pinnacle Loggers, will we see them using their river run tactic again that we saw in the solos round? Now, with both trucks arriving into the arena at exactly the same time, and Samu and Gaming with James both waiting with full loads in their high lifts, this was looking like it was going to be a close round. Pick a Pallet absolutely smashed it in the loading phase and saw them leaving the arena in an incredibly quick time. Knowing they were ahead, THRU took no risks on the run to the sawmill, which saw Pick a Pallet unloading their container with our very first sub 10 minute time for this course with a 9:44. Once again, the Pinnacle Loggers pulled back a huge chunk of time, utilising their river run strat and crossing the line at 10:28, which would have been a winning time in many of the other rounds. With both teams filling their containers to the max, the result on the road was reflected in the final result, with Pick a Pallet taking the win. But with Pinnacle loggers now showing their hand with their river run strat, I for one am looking forward to seeing that potentially being implemented in upcoming rounds by them or possibly other teams. We shall see. Game 5 saw us coming back to the solos, where we saw Tobias versus Modern Logging versus Farming Alex on the original Chaos course, which always brings out some curveballs based on the fact that everybody wants to get to the best trees as quickly as possible. Modern Logging took his time to get a robust pile sorted before starting to load, while Tobias struggled a little to gather the best of the trees. Farming Alex moved a little further away to give himself some space, however some incredibly close and almost identically paced loading from both Tobias and Modern Logging saw them closing the doors of their containers at exactly the same time and heading out of the arena, with Tobias having a slightly quicker route out onto the road and an unfortunate incident with traffic delaying Modern Logging a little. However, when the times were adjusted, Tobias incurred a penalty for picking up some dead wood in his container, which handed the win to Modern Logging by almost 2.5 minutes, with Farming Alex coming in third. The final game of the round saw Farming Alex returning. This time he was up against Samu CH and Gaming with James, and they'd be playing on the Super Chaos course, which is widely regarded as one of the most challenging of the courses in the series. Now, in the early stages it was neck and neck between Gaming with James and Samu CH. Gaming with James didn't have as neat a pile of logs as Samu, so lost a bit of time arranging piles before being able to load his container. With one narrow track in and out of the arena, there is limited space for trucks, so first mover advantage, getting your truck positioned well, is key to getting a good result. But some impressive sportsmanship between all three players meant there was no dramas. Now, by this time, Samu had a strong lead and was first out of the arena, with both Gaming with James and Farming Alex containers both around half full. In the end, it was a convincing win for Samu in a very fast time of 14 minutes and 40 seconds for this course, with Gaming with James coming in second and Farming Alex for the second time in as many games taking third. So there you go, 6 exciting games there, and with only one round to go till the finals, let's have a look at the overall standings. In the 3v3s competition, Pick a Pallet have crept into a slight lead and remain the only team unbeaten in the team's competition. But look how tight things are for second place, with Pinnacle loggers, Logmeisters and Power Team Esports all sitting there on 80 points. But with a game in hand, both Astragon and Modern Logging could bring themselves back into contention ahead of the final. Into the solos, Gaming with James holds a narrow 5-point lead over Bargon, but has played one game extra. With just 15 points separating the top 5, there is everything to play for as we head into round 5. So there you go, folks, all to play for still. Now, Argsy and I hope you will be able to join us live on Saturday for round 5 of Logging League, sponsored by THRUSTMASTER and G-Portal. It's hotting up at the top of the table, and with one round to go ahead of the finals, it's all to play for. We'll see you Saturday.